Hello everyone, Ron here from L.T.L Tutoring Central. And if you're looking for tips and strategies to help with your learning, you are in the right place. This video is entitled A Positive Tool for Your Writing, and I'm talking about appositives. So it's a little play on words there. You might be asking, what is an appositive? Well, an appositive is a group of words, a phrase, that modifies a noun or pronoun. In other words, it defines or explains the noun, adding extra detail or providing extra information for the reader. For that reason, many appositives are separated by a comma or commas, and we'll talk a little bit more about that later. Why use appositives? Well, there are a couple of very good reasons. One is to add variety to your writing. Remember, you want to use different kinds of sentences, different sentence structures, and this is one tool in your writer's toolbox that you can use in order to add that variety of sentences to your writing. Another reason is, and this is a very good one, if you have a lot of short sentences, especially very short sentences, you can often combine some of those sentences by using appositives. There are many ways of combining sentences, but one of them is by using an appositive. And again, that can give your writing more variety, but it can also tighten up some of those sentences and make them better. So there are a couple of very good reasons for using appositives. I'm going to get into some examples in just a moment so that you can see exactly how appositives can be used at the beginning, in the middle, or at the ends of sentences. So let's get started. Just before I get into the examples, I wanted to remind you to please subscribe. Just click on that subscribe button. Click on the notification bell that's right beside the subscribe button, and that way you'll be notified of new videos coming up with new learning strategies or tips, also read-along series, etc. Also, if you like the video, click on the thumbs up. That will really help me out and help the channel keep going and keep providing educational tips and strategies. Here's our first example, and it's happening at the end of the sentence. Bill wanted to find the perfect gift, a gold-plated pen. The noun in green, gift, is being modified or described by the appositive in red, a gold-plated pen. You can see that we don't need the appositive to have a complete sentence. Bill wanted to find the perfect gift, period. We could simply put a period there. We have a complete sentence, so the appositive could be removed without changing the main part of the sentence. Now, of course, we'd lose that additional information, but it isn't essential or necessary, and that's why we have a comma. In this example, the appositive happens at the beginning of the sentence. A trying child, Damien, struggled in school until grade 9. So the noun in green, Damien, is being modified by the appositive, a trying child, in red. Again, in this case, you can see that the appositive could easily be removed and we still have a complete sentence. Damien struggled in school until grade 9. So the appositive is simply giving us additional information or extra information. Sometimes an appositive can be essential or restrictive. In those cases, you would not separate it out with a comma. However, in many cases, we would use commas because the appositive is not essential to the meaning of the sentence. If the appositive happens within the sentence, in other words, not at the beginning and not at the very end, you would need two commas, as in this example. The waitress, a beautiful young woman, made every effort to provide for her customers. In this case, the noun waitress is being modified by the appositive in red, a beautiful young woman, giving us extra or additional information about the waitress. Again, not essential, not restrictive, so we would put a comma before and a comma after, because we could essentially remove the appositive, extract that out of the sentence, and we would have the waitress made every effort to provide for her customers, which is a complete sentence in itself. The appositive is simply giving us more information and a more interesting sentence, perhaps. Here's another example in which the appositive occurs within the sentence. It's near the beginning, but it's not at the very beginning because we have the noun Paris, which is being modified by the appositive, the capital city of France, within this sentence. Paris, the capital city of France, has innumerable tourist attractions. So the appositive again is giving us more information. It's identifying the noun. We could extract it, however. It is not absolutely necessary. We would still have Paris has innumerable tourist attractions, which is a complete sentence in itself. The capital city of France just helps identify or modify the noun Paris. And again, we would have 2 commas because it's happening within the sentence. And that means that we could technically extract it right out of the sentence without changing the primary meaning of the sentence. Now, if the fact that this is the capital city of France is important, I would suggest a different sentence structure. Now remember, I said that you could also use appositive to join short sentences. So here's an example in which you can join sentences together. The 15 flamingos in the garden provided some cheer. They were pink plastic creations. So instead of having 2 sentences, we could combine those 2 into the 15 flamingos, pink plastic creations, in the garden provided some cheer. Now, it isn't always necessary, and it isn't even always advisable. You do have to be careful. You don't want too many appositives in your writing. But sometimes it's a great idea to combine some of the shorter sentences to make a longer sentence, particularly if one of the sentences is not terribly important. That one can be turned into the appositive while you maintain the main thrust or the main meaning of your sentence. Here's another example of joining sentences using an appositive. Harold lifted the heavy crates without difficulty. He is broad-shouldered and strong. Combined, we have Harold, broad-shouldered and strong, lifted the heavy crates without difficulty. So you have Harold as the noun being modified by the appositive, describing him, broad-shouldered and strong, and then the rest of your sentence. Now, be careful when you're combining sentences that your appositive is not a clause. It should only be a phrase. So broad-shouldered and strong, there's no possibility that this could stand by itself without some other words. So this is a phrase. You don't want to put, you don't want to have a subject and a predicate within your appositive because then it isn't really an appositive at all. You want to make sure that your appositive is a phrase and not a clause. Sometimes you have many really short sentences, and then it is a good idea to combine sentences in one way or another, and the appositive is one method for doing this. The boy is little. He is handsome. He is very intelligent. His name is Mike. So we have a lot of really short sentences here. We can combine them into one sentence. Mike, a handsome little boy, is very intelligent. Now you can hear how much better that sentence sounds. It's more obvious than some of the earlier examples, but it's always a good idea to have a look through your writing and see if there are 2 sentences that can be combined, or 3 or 4, as in this case, in which all of the ideas can be encapsulated quite easily in one sentence. And one of the methods for doing that is using appositives, as we have in this case. Now I want you to try this one. See if you can put these 3 sentences into just one sentence by using an appositive. And there is more than one way to do it. So I'd be interested to see what you come up with. Put your version down in the comments below if you're watching this on YouTube, or if you prefer, you can check out the website. I'll put a link for that below in the description, and you can send me an email with your version and I'll let you know if you succeeded. My wife and I watched a movie. The title was Amadeus. It is my favorite movie. Good luck. There we have it, a little bit of information about appositives and how to use appositives in your writing to give your writing some variety and spice it up a little bit. Remember, variety is the spice of life, so they say. So try using out appositives. See if you can do that example and try out some appositives in your own writing. I think you'll find that they're a very useful tool in your writer's toolbox. I didn't talk a lot about restrictive or essential appositives because I often think of appositive as adding extra information rather than essential. I did mention it throughout the video, but I didn't give any examples. There are a couple of examples in the blog of restrictive or essential appositives in which you wouldn't use a comma, so you can check that out. I'll put a link for the blog below. I'll also put a link for the website below as promised, and I'll also put a link below for the live coming up next week, and that's for the read along series, but you can join in anyway if you want to listen in on the discussion, and or if you have any questions or comments, you can join on the live recording that we'll be doing next Thursday, I believe, and I'll put that information below too. All right, thank you very much. It's Ron Johnson from L.T.L. Tutoring Central. In the meantime, keep learning and keep having fun. Bye-bye for now.